I'm paying for my girlfriend's life coach, but I'm sure he wants to sleep with her. What should I do? My girlfriend Rachel is 25 and I am 27. She has been seeking direction from a self-proclaimed life coach that she met recently at grad school. This dude is probably about 45 years old and going to grad school in the same program as Rachel. He worked with Rachel and a couple others on an assignment, and Rachel would come home every day she had class with him, all excited about the advice he had given her, or what have you. He is a yoga instructor who also claims to be a life coach on the side. Feel free to sigh heavily to yourself here. He has no credentials and no life coaching business to speak of. I think he just woke up one day and decided he could spew enough vague bullshit to get people, cough, young women, cough, to shell out money for his coaching. If I sound bitter, it is because I am. This dude is charismatic as hell, and he convinces people that he is worth their time and money when he is not. Rachel convinced me to go out to dinner with him, so I could see for myself how great he is. Has to be in my top 3 most awkward and uncomfortable social events in my life. I could not help myself. I questioned him on everything and backed this guy into a corner multiple times. Despite exposing this guy as a bumbling fraud a few times throughout dinner, Rachel was annoyed with me when we left because she said I acted immaturely and it embarrassed her. Agreed that I was immature, but how can she not see this guy for what he is? It boggles me and also drives me freaking insane. And yes, I am jealous of the dude for the amount of attention Rachel gives him. I am human. This guy convinced Rachel to start coaching sessions with him, which are $50 for a pop, and she goes twice a week. Rachel is in grad school. Rachel does not make a lot of money at her very part-time side job. I am out of grad school and make a comfortable living. So, who do you think is really footing the bill for this? Look, I am fine with paying most expenses. The house we live in together is in my name. I am fine with paying the mortgage. So please don't misunderstand me that I am trying to throw my weight around as the breadwinner. She is in school. I get it, and it's not a problem. Once she graduates, she will most likely be making more money than me anyway. For the record, we met 4 years ago when I was a broke-ass student, so she is not using me for money. What annoys me about this in particular, though, is that I am basically paying some guy to feed my girlfriend a bunch of bullshit and hang out with her one-on-one. I know without a doubt that this guy wants to bang Rachel. I am not being paranoid or insecure. Dude wants to bang my girlfriend. I could see it a mile away before I ever even met him, and once I met him, it was confirmed. Sometimes there is this unspoken tension between people when you both are gunning for the same romantic interest. I could feel it. He could feel it. Apparently, the only one who couldn't feel it is Rachel. Why do I think he wants to bang her? Rachel has that thing that few people have. Charisma is through the roof with that one. Everyone who knows her loves her, and she captivates people immediately. She is so unaware of the allure she has, which I suppose is good just because it has kept her so down to earth and sweet. Then there's the physical aspect. Rachel is gorgeous. She is just naturally stunning. Maybe this is just me, but I love the way she smells. Her natural scent, and even the smell of her sweat turns me the hell on. Her pheromones make me crazy in the most awesome way possible. I love the girl, if you can't tell. I have kept my thoughts about him wanting to bang Rachel to myself. I brought it up once at the start of all this, and she was so firm that this guy was more like a father figure, and that their interactions were totally platonic. I dropped it because I believe her and I trust her. I truly believe that she has no other intentions with this guy other than to be friends and to learn from him. I am not going to badger her about the guy. All it is going to do is drive her away and make her feel like she has to defend herself. The only reason I haven't completely lost my mind over this is because I do believe that if this guy makes a move, she will shut him down immediately. It doesn't mean it does not bother me, though. The thought of him even trying makes me want to put my head through glass. However, I now have a financial reason to cut back her time with this guy. Rachel does yoga, and she switched studios to the place this guy teaches at so she can take his class. Her previous yoga class was free as a student perk, and his class is not free. I am considering telling her that I won't keep paying for her yoga classes with him or the coaching bull crap. My concern is that this is controlling or that I am being a jerk if I do this. Rachel already knows I think this guy is a fraud, and she knows that I thought it was not only wasteful but nonsensical to switch to his yoga class when her other one was free. Next, we have commentaries with OP participating and, in the end, Rachel wrote a text explaining her side of the story. I almost stopped reading when you stated you're paying for this guy. Dude, come on. Look, if she wants to go to a life coach, there are actual psychologists with actual degrees in this field. I would stop paying for anything this guy runs and let her know you have no problem with her having a life coach, but you'd rather her having one that's actually qualified to be one. She's not your wife and therefore doesn't get to decide what you do with your money. Hey dude, guess what? Rachel can feel it and knows. Unless she's an absolute moron, she knows. Trust me, she knows. Enjoy these kinds of infuriating moments for as long as you two are together. This situation will come up again. Must suck to pay $100 a week to the guy who is trying to bang your girlfriend. I'd stop doing it. If she has money for this, then she has money to pay her share of bills. You're not married and not her father. I'm not arguing with you. This whole situation is ridiculous. However, I do think there are some people who assume the best in people. She thinks his age makes it secure that their relationship is platonic. She sees him more in a fatherly way and thinks he sees her as a sort of daughter type thing. I am jaded as F, so I see right through him, but not everybody is as jaded as me and most people. Rachel definitely tries to give people the benefit of the doubt. Normally, it solidifies my love and admiration for her, but in this situation, it sucks hard. To answer your musings, yes, it does suck to pay $100 per week to a guy who wants to F my girl. Which is why I am asking opinions on pulling the plug on footing the bill. It sucks really hard. I just think she so firmly sees him as not even a possibility of sexual interest that she assumes he feels the same. She's 25. If that's not naive, I don't know what is. It's naive for her to not assume that every male she knows wants to F her, especially one that is almost twice her age and is hiding under the pretense that he is a professional with a career in yoga and life coaching. Yeah, I am frustrated with her for not seeing him for what he is, but I don't think it makes her stupid or necessarily naive. She absolutely knows, and she is likely feeling something for him, especially if he is charismatic and in good shape. I assume so since he is a yoga instructor. She isn't defending him, admiring him, and spending a lot of time with him because of the quality of his life coaching, since as OP notes, it isn't very good. She gets to hang out with a fun guy while OP pays. As a child of a parent who had married someone like this, these people are life leeches. Do not fund this any longer. People like this are always charismatic as hell because that's the only skill, besides F&ing people over, that they have going for them. I don't think you're being a jerk at all. You love this girl so naturally you are concerned and want to protect her as any good partner would. Just because she feels happy about this life coach now doesn't mean it will last. In my experience, this feel-good period is similar to that of grooming to use for manipulation later on. Good luck, OP. Stay strong. Thank you. That is a huge concern of mine, that she will just get hurt by this guy when he shows what he is really after. I didn't put this in the actual post, but Rachel's father died around 3 years ago, and it was devastating to her. So, I do wonder if she views this guy as a father figure because it is a comfort for her to have someone sort of fatherly who she thinks is helping her to be successful when her father isn't here to be that for her now. Scares me even more that her feelings would get destroyed when he inevitably tries to make a move on her or something. I intend to get her away from him before he can do that to her. Thanks for your advice, and sorry you had to closely experience a person like this guy. Rachel made several posts explaining herself, but this one has everything that she wrote.
Hi, this is Rachel. Tom, let me read this post last night when we talked, and I finally convinced him to let me read the comments this morning, LOL. I really like your comment for the most part. I'm sure it does seem ridiculous that I wanted to go to this guy's sessions instead of a certified life coach. Honestly, this guy reminds me of my actual dad. My actual dad died a few years ago, and it has been a real struggle since he was my only living parent before he died. Not a sob story or looking for pity, but this guy reminds me of him, so it sorts of felt like taking advice from my dad. I also do not in any way want to F him, and I really haven't felt like he wanted me sexually until Tom and I talked last night. He asked me to think about every interaction and every touch. He asked me if his yoga class or sessions have many men in them or older women. When I actually peeled back the screen of him reminding me of my dad, I realized that his yoga class is full of college women such as myself, and that the people I see him with on campus that he is coaching are all young, attractive women. It doesn't make me dumb to not have noticed before. I just was really trusting this guy, and I guess thought I could because I was associating him with memories of my father. They are all very young and attractive college women. So even though the guy has not been inappropriate with me, I see Tom's point. It is pretty clear that the guy is only going after a certain type of clients, and that in itself is pretty creepy. I have happily agreed to stop seeing this man for sessions and to go back to my free yoga class. The only part of your comment I didn't like was the part about me not getting to decide what he does with his money. I have never tried. What Tom should have clarified, insert glare at Tom, who is currently next to me watching Adventure Brothers in his PJs, instead of getting ready for work, is that he doesn't directly pay for this. I didn't come home one day and open up my hand to him, expecting him to drop $100 in it. I pay for them with my part-time job money. What Tom meant was that he is indirectly paying for them because I am not paying for expenses when I pay for the sessions/yoga. I didn't know he felt that way until we talked. I also didn't know how much this man bothered him until we talked. Tom is an amazing man for trusting in me and believing that I would never reciprocate in advance. I really doubt I would have kept my composure nearly as well as he has if he was hanging around a woman I thought wanted to have sex with him. Now that I know truly how he feels, I am completely willing to give up seeing this man at all. Tom means a billion more to me than this guy and his yoga or advice.
OP has made an update to share the good news. Well, everyone, everything turned out fine. I just sat Rachel down last night and really calmly and clearly told her my reasons for not being on board with her seeing this guy. Amazing how calm and mature communication can fix most issues. Rachel was really receptive to what I was saying. First off, I made sure she knew I was not accusing her and that I didn't think she had done anything wrong or cheated, and I was not mad at her. I did ask her to explain what it is about him that she is so drawn to. She clarified that she doesn't just view him as a father figure, but that he reminds her of her actual dad. Her dad died really suddenly a few years ago, and it was really hard on her, as you can imagine. So, she said in some ways it felt like she was taking advice and learning from her dad, which was a comfort to her. So, I got a better understanding of the why on her seeing this guy. When I brought up the sexual part of it, I took one person's advice on here and didn't say it as, "This guy definitely wants to bang you," but instead told her I had a feeling about him and that I was legit concerned about her safety and her feelings. I didn't want her to trust this guy and see him like a father, just to have him stomp all over her trust and feelings when he tried to cop a feel or come on to her. I did make sure to tell her how much I trust her, and that the only reason I didn't have a mental breakdown over her spending time with this guy was because I know she wouldn't cheat, and she would have shut him down if he tried. Rachel said she really never felt an attraction from him to her. I asked if she would really think about what kind of people this guy works with. Are there older women? Men? Couples? She thought about it, and it looked like it dawned on her finally. She said she had never really thought much of it, but that every person she had ever seen him work with was a young and pretty woman. Then she got all creeped out, finally. Rachel agreed to stop the sessions with him and to go back to her free yoga. Just like that. She realized why it was inappropriate and why it bothered me, and she immediately agreed to stop. I offered to gladly pay for her to see a certified life coach, but she said she doesn't think she even wants one. She did accept my offer to help with any costs there may be to go see a therapist, so she can work out her feelings and issues with her dad's death. She felt really bad because she didn't know how much this all had bothered me. She told me that she knew I didn't believe in him as a life coach, but that she really didn't know that I viewed him as a predator and someone I felt like I needed to protect her from. She told me that I should have told her sooner, and she would have stopped going to this guy. I was not clear enough on my original post, though, when I said that, who do you really think is paying for it? I did mean indirectly. She pays less on expenses because she's paying for his sessions, so I am paying for it indirectly. She hadn't thought of it that way either, so she agreed with that as well after I explained. I let her read the original post after we talked, and that was super helpful too. It was basically back up that I was never trying to be controlling or accusatory, and that I was just worried and frustrated. I didn't want her to look through the comments at first because seriously believe me when I say how sweet this girl is. She is sensitive and just really kind. I didn't want her to see all the people who dogged on her and made her out to be a terrible, stupid woman who was using poor little clueless, dumb me. I finally agreed this morning, and it was actually hilarious to see her do her thing on there. Some of you probably already know that since Rachel actually got on there and responded to quite a few comments. What can I say? The girl is amazing and life is pretty great right now. Top comments. He had no clue how much I was bothered and why. Ask her how would she feel if you were hanging out with a 45-year-old woman, life coach, and she's paying for it.
Hey, this is Rachel. Did you read Tom's whole post? He included in there that after we talked, I do now see that it bothered him and why. That's not even a question for me anymore. I totally get it. That is why I am perfectly and happily willing to cut this guy out of my life. I love Tom and would never intentionally hurt him.
I get that I'm just dumbfounded how if the roles were reversed you would have freaked out a lot sooner. Am I right?
I have said that in a few of my responses to people. I would not have been able to have kept as level of a head as Tom if the roles were reversed. I didn't know how strongly this bothered Tom or how deeply he felt that this guy was a predator. Had I known, I would have stopped long ago or never even started. Now I know, so I would never continue seeing this guy. Tom is amazing for being so trusting and mature about this whole thing. I am a lucky woman.